Bloody hell!
Again, the defense.
Hi.
Language. There's no other word but swear words in this room.
I know. That's good, isn't it?
Stop it.
Okay, fine. She's mad, guys. She's milding. Alright, let's watch this fucking shit.
Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff from the Overwatch team. I just want to give you a little bit of a warning. I think this is going to be a longer developer update than we usually do, but it's because we want to spend time explaining things very carefully to you. So as you know in Overwatch, we give you a very short period of time to choose your team. The Assembles Heroes mode is only 40 seconds long. And as many of you know, as veteran Overwatch players, team composition is everything to your success and failure of whether or not you're going to win the match.
Yep.
And we feel like there's a lot of pressure on you in that 40 seconds to make some very tough decisions. For this reason, we are introducing a feature that's going to give you more control over your experience, and this feature is called Role Queue. The reason we are adding Role Queue is because we believe that it's going to improve match quality, it's going to give you more control over your play experience, you're going to have more options as to what you're going to play, and it's also going to relieve a lot of the social pressure that some of us feel and overall create a better social experience for us when picking our heroes and picking our roles. So let me go into the
Look at
details
this Adam's
of
apple,
what
guys.
Role Queue is going to be for Overwatch. From now on, in competitive and quick play, as well as in Overwatch esports, when you queue up for a match, you will be asked to pick a role between support, damage, or tank.
I hate that he says
When you
damage.
get into
Just
the
say
match,
DPS,
you
dude.
will only be able to pick the role that you queued for. So if you pick tank, you will be limited to the tanks that you can play. Every team in Overwatch will be comprised of two tanks.
Wait, did he say quick play?
From now on, in competitive and quick play,
Wow.
well, obviously this is a very big change.
Holy
The quicker
shit.
the better.
They did it in quick play as
There's
well.
some really cool reasons to do this. So right now in Overwatch, we give you an overall matchmaking rating because we don't know what you're going to play.
I mean, I don't care, but
You
that's
get
a
into
terrible
match
idea.
With the intention of playing Reinhardt, but there's already multiple tanks on your team, so you end up playing Widowmaker instead.
Ugh.
In that case,
Wait,
you
okay,
might actually
when does that ever happen? Oh, I want to play Reinhardt instead. There's 3 tanks on my team, so I'm going to play Widowmaker.
perform much better or worse as a tank than you would as a damage player, and the match balance is in flux constantly because of this. Well, under the new system, you will have an under-the-hood matchmaking rating for every single role, damage, tank, and support. What's even cooler about this is in competitive, we're now going to give you, instead of 1 skill rating for your entire playstyle, we're going to give you 3 skill ratings, each one based on tank, damage, and support.
That's
We
weird.
found this internally to be a lot of fun. A lot of us are discovering things about ourselves that we didn't even know. For example, for me, I am an entire skill rating tier higher on tank than I am on support. I used to think support was my second best role, and it actually is my worst role, and I'm decent at damage and really good at tank. So I learned something about myself as a player, which was really cool, and it was neat to see that my tank play is an entire skill rating higher than my damage or support. So that was really cool, and we think it'll be a lot of fun for you. Now you're probably wondering about some of the details with competitive play and how that might change the experience. Instead of playing 10 placement matches and then being placed into the competitive season, you will now have the option for each role of only having to place in 5 placement matches. So if you want to place in all 3, which we totally encourage you to do, you would do 5 placement matches per role, and then you'll be placed and you will get a skill rating that will actually display on your career profile. And each season you can now try to raise and lower 3 different skill ratings instead of just 1. We think this will be really cool. If you place in any role, like if you just picked 1, you just want to play damage for competitive, we'll give you the player icon and the spray like we've done in previous seasons. One of the things that I think is really cool though is for placing in all 3 and having a skill rating in all 3 roles, you now get competitive points per role. So if you place in all 3 roles in a season, you'll actually get more competitive points than you would have previously under the old system. So we think that's really cool. We will publish a chart that shows how the new competitive points sort of translate and all of that. Now, there's some other differences to competitive that will happen, and this is in regards to, the new system and making sure that we test it properly. So we're going to end Season 17 early, and we're going to start a beta competitive season that will start on August 13th
Jeff's
and
beta,
only
dude.
run for 2 weeks. Roll queue is a very complicated feature that requires a lot of testing, and while roll queue will be on the PTR for PC today, we want to have more broad testing that actually touches PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
Oh.
So we're gonna roll a beta season that's gonna start on August 13th and last until September 1st. That's gonna allow us to tune and tweak roll queue to make sure that it's perfect when it releases officially, which is gonna be on September 1st. So your
September 1st. September 1st. That's ages away. That's like a month and a half away. So it's not going to be next season then. That's weird.
initially going to get a beta competitive season that features roll queue. That's going to last 2 weeks starting in mid-August. Then on September 1st, roll queue turns on for everyone. This means quick play, this means competitive, even some of the arcade modes. Now, we know some of you really love the way that quick play and competitive work right now, and you don't want to have a roll limit. So for those of you folks who aren't interested in the roll limit, or maybe you do like the roll limit, but you just occasionally want to play the other way, we're going to make sure that in the arcade, there's a card called Quick Play Classic that will allow you to play Overwatch exactly as you do today, with the added benefit that you'll also be getting the arcade loot boxes. So we think that this will be a very positive experience. For those of you who are reluctant about roll queue or maybe want to take your time experimenting with the feature, know that the Quick Play Classic feature is there for you. Now, I want to spend a little bit more time talking about the why of this feature. I think there's a lot that's changed about Overwatch in the past few years, and all of it's good. The players have evolved, the games have evolved, how we think about team composition has evolved. I think a lot of us realize how important the different roles are, how important team composition is, and we approach the game differently. Now, we've all been in these various scenarios, and I'm going to spell some of them out for you. Think about the time that you just wanted to play Hanzo. You were really in the mood to play Hanzo, and so you log into Overwatch, and you click on Hanzo as soon as he's available in the role lineup, and then you're watching the heroes on your team get selected around you, and you suddenly realize that you have no tanks in support, and there you are on Hanzo. And you're faced with this dilemma, like, what do I do? At this point, we have no tanks, we have no support. If I switch off of Hanzo, I'm not getting to do what I wanted to do, yet I feel like we're going to lose because there's nobody to heal and there's nobody to tank. So it's a really tough dilemma. There's also a lot of us who always pick last. I'm a player that does this. I always tell my team, I'll flex, you guys all
sure
pick,
you are.
and I'll go
Look
ahead
at Jeff,
and fill
good Samaritan.
for whatever's left.
I just flex.
So a lot of times,
I'm such a
what'll
cool
end
guy.
up happening is, for example, I'll end up playing support on my team. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I happen to know that my matchmaking rate
Picking last is 100% the beta move. Insta-locking is the alpha move.
as a support player is far lower than my matchmaking rating as a tank player. Even though I'm trying to be a good teammate to you when I'm picking support, I might actually be putting my team in a very detrimental situation. Sure, I'll play Zenyatta, I'll play Mercy, but I'm not as good of a Mercy player as I am as a D.Va or a Reinhardt player. And in essence, I've caused a great imbalance to happen in the game. So we've all been under these scenarios as well, where we're trying to do the right thing, and we don't even realize that innocently we are damaging the quality of the match and lessening my team's odds of winning the match by playing a role that I wasn't intended to play. So that's another example. And then possibly the one that I think bothers a lot of us is we get into a match, we think we're picking a hero that's really going to help our team, we pick that hero, and then another teammate disagrees with us. And maybe they're very vocal and they're putting pressure on me to play something different. And either for reasons that I feel like I'm not skilled at that hero, or I just don't want to play that hero, now I'm getting this pressure from somebody else to switch onto something that I'm not comfortable doing. And we've added this social tension. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the developer update, we're only giving you 40 seconds to resolve these type of issues. All of these scenarios that I sort of spelled out for you are the reason that we're moving the game in this direction. I want to dispel any misconception that the reason that we are implementing this feature is to change the meta. We are not at all. In fact, we're in the middle of a big meta shift anyway that's happening very naturally through hero balance. We don't believe that a rule like this is intended to target any one specific meta. There will always be a meta. There will always be some level of dissatisfaction with the meta.
There's something actually I want to briefly talk on. He's saying that the meta changed naturally. It didn't, by the way. The reason that teams are playing more DPS comps in Overwatch League is because Overwatch League teams have known about 2-2 since Stage 2. They've known about it. So the entire reason that half the teams are playing DBS is because they're just getting practice for stage 4 2-2 because they know the playoffs are going to be on 2-2. It's not. I still think that there would be Somber Goats everywhere if it was actually high level play, but people are just practicing for 2-2. That's why.
And we would never make a rule change like this targeted at a specific meta. It's also not our goal to control the meta. I've heard people say that if we went to something like a 2-2-2 composition, we would be limiting the creativity of the game. And I couldn't disagree with this more. I feel like the most creative people work creatively within constraints. For example, and I know I'm off on a bit of a tangent here, but Shakespeare, one of the greatest writers of all time.
Shut up about Shakespeare.
So there's a lot going on here. The last part that I want to mention that I feel like is by no means the least part that we should focus on is hero
read the
balance.
patch notes after.
Now, with a 2-2-2 composition, it's going to change how we have to balance the heroes. It's not going to be easier to balance the heroes. It's not going to be more difficult to balance the heroes.
No, it's going to be fucking 10 times easier to balance heroes. That's just objectively a lie. Like, it's objectively easier to balance heroes in 2-2 than it isn't, because you don't have to think. You limit the amount of comps in the game. Just mathematically, it's just easier to balance. Like, you're just lying here, Jeff, you idiot.
It's just different.
Sorry, I was.
And there are changes that are going to have to happen to some of our heroes to make them viable within this role queue 2-2-2 setup that we are moving to. A hero that I will use as an example is Brigitte. Brigitte is going to get a lot of big balance changes, and you'll be able to read about these. We'll link to them, and you'll be able to read all the patch notes, so you'll know what I'm talking about. But Brigitte is going to get tremendous balance changes. And the reason being is, currently, Brigitte is extremely powerful when played with 2 other supports. So you're already in a 3-support situation. But Brigitte is actually not as viable with only 1 other support, and sometimes Brigitte can be a detriment to your team when only played with 1 other support. We need to rebalance Brigitte for this current situation. You'll see this happen with some of our other heroes as well. Now, we know role queue is going to be a big change. I think this is the biggest change we've had to the game since we went to the hero limit 3 years ago.
I think
this is a big change. I know it's traumatic. I know players in general are adverse to change. Please
Did he say it's traumatic?
I think this is the biggest change we've added to the game since we went to the hero limit 3 years ago. This is a big change. I know it's dramatic. I know players in general are.
You say dramatic or traumatic?
Adverse to change.
Just traumatic.
Please work with us on this. We're doing this to make the game better. We believe that it will make the overall experience for all of you better, and that's why we're making the change.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is.
If things aren't great at first, we have lots of knobs to turn to make things better. We are monitoring this extremely closely, and we're going to do a lot of things to make sure that this is the absolute healthiest choice for the game at all points, and know that the entire team is committed to making changes if we do anything that's not for the best of the game. One of the things that I'm personally concerned about is queue times. I think that it's possible if one role is more popular than the other roles, people are going to have to wait longer to play that role. I anticipate this for the damage role in particular. I think there might be longer queue times for damage. We are doing some things to help alleviate this. There is a reward system in place for playing the roles that are more impacted.
That's good.
You'll get a bonus for playing those roles, and you'll learn more about that.
That's
and
good.
then also, we just think the very nature of knowing that you're going to have a quicker experience. If you want to play really, really fast, you can either go to the arcade and play Quick Play Classic, or you can play some of those other roles that are more impacted right now.
I think
know
that's
that
fair.
This is something that we're keeping an eye on, but it's a direct trade-off to moving towards this type of system. We really appreciate your patience with us. I know so many of you have wanted this feature for so long. We've actually been working on this for over a year. It's an extremely complicated change. It's required a complete rewrite of our matchmaking system.
Hey, Vip, right next to the Prime Serving.
We believe that this is the best thing for the long-term health of the game. We're going to continue to iterate on the feature as it goes live, and we're going to make sure that overall the play experience is improved. And the reason for doing a big dramatic change like this is to make sure that all of you continue to have more fun playing Overwatch, and maybe some people who used to play Overwatch will be happy to come back because now this is in place, and they know they're guaranteed to play the role that they really wanted to play in that match. We're looking forward to what you have to say about this.
Wait, why are you guys saying a yeah? Wait, why are you guys saying a yeah? Over a year to add role queue when it's already featured in the game? What do you mean? They're adding it next month?
This on the PTR. We're also looking forward to your feedback.
Oh, they're working in it over a year.
That short multi-week.
I don't understand how you could be working on something for a year that's literally a 10-minute fix. Let's reach patch it. Let me briefly talk about that, but I don't know. I think like Lock 2-2, as you said, is good. I think it has downsides. I think that having different SRs for different roles is stupid, and I think it's unnecessary. I understand why they did it, but I don't think it's good for anyone, right? But that's just my opinion. I think that the main upside I think 2-2 has is it makes balancing the game trivial in comparison to what it is before. Because In the history of Overwatch, there's been several metas where 222 isn't viable. Like, quad tank meta, old school triple tank meta, you know, triple DPS dive meta, goats meta. All of these metas, like even the bunker meta now, I still think the strongest variant of bunker is the solo heal bunker. Right? There's tons of metas like that. So like, now forcing 222 is gonna make balancing the game like 23.1% times easier. Well, more than that. It's gonna be so good. Right. Okay, let's have a look. Global ultimate cost increase 12%. That's good. That's a very good change, I think. I think that nerfing ult rates is a fucking phenomenal change. I think it's something that they really, really, really needed to do for a while. I think they did it before, and they need to do it more because ults in this game are way too impactful. Okay? Way too impactful, right? Like, I think it kind of ruins the game, how much the game snowballs with ults, and I think that nerfing the ult rate is a good thing. It means if you win your first fight, you might not have like 5 ults. You might have like 1 ult of whoever popped off the most, right? I still think this is not enough. Slowing effects are second together for any enemy slowing effects now separate and the movement speed will be reduced by which is slower. I'm not sure what this means for any enemies. I mean, like if you lose your speed boost by and then you get May frozen, you go like normal speed or something. I don't know. I think this is fine. Sure, it gets annoying. Quicker but less fights are turned by automation. The slow change will mostly impact heroes which can slow themselves, such as Widowmaker while scoping. What? Round with your shield. So instead of them stacking, it's whichever one slows more. So when you get frozen, if you get touched by Rhine, nothing happens. Widow buffs. Yeah. I think that's what it means. So this, whatever, fine, non-change, really sure it's nice. It's a fucking, what? I don't want to get into this math situation again. Like a 20% increase in reload speed? Sure, fine. Healing amount increased to 100 to 130. Self-healing from Inspire is now halved. This is pretty big change. I think this is a good change. This makes her much more killable, but it makes her better healer, which is fine. Oh my god. What? Okay, no, this is fine, actually. But this is interesting, actually. I quite like this. This is actually cool. I do like this. Yeah? Change duration reduced. I think this is fine. I think this is a good change. Much less cancerous. They didn't nerf the ult, which I think still needs a touch nerf. I think most of that's just armor I think needs a nerf. Oh my god. Pog. This is actually Pog. This is pretty nice. I mean, it's a fucking minor change that makes no difference. This is pretty Pog nice. This is good, actually. I'm glad that they nerfed Hanzo. The good thing is, because they nerfed Hanzo, it means that they 100% are going to have nerfed Widow, right? Which is really great. I really like that. The fact that they're going to nerf Widow, because they're nerfing Hanzo, so they're going to nerf Widow as well. Moira can now use when stunned. What? What the fuck is that change? Why? That's bizarre. Cooldown. Okay, nice. I think that's good. I think she needs more changes than this, but I think that's a good start. And my pep pie. Okay, I think this is fair. Gonna make playing Doom for Central pretty hard, but I think that's good. Hack duration on replay is reduced from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. Thank God. Activation time increased from 0.5 to 0.65. This is a really big change. This is a very small buff, but I actually think it's a huge buff. The small difference in the time means it's gonna be much easier to stun her out of it. Much easier to react. Like the human reaction time. I don't know what the human reaction time is. Human reaction time average 0.25 seconds. So let's say on average 0.25 seconds. That gives you almost an extra human reaction time to change, which is really nice. And this is just obviously nice. I think it should be like 4 seconds. Let me link. There you go. 2 extra reactions. What's this? Wait, what? What the is this real? Pog. Sigma nuts. Oh. Try with the ability 2? Ability 2? Input? What's ability 2? E? Subs can link? No, subs have been able to link for ages. Like for the entire stream's life. Non-subs can if they get permitted. I think this is quite interesting. Breaks if the entrance is more than 40 meters from the exit. I don't know if this is a good change or a bad change. It just feels weird. Buffing Tracer is a bit of a weird champ. I don't know if I like buffing Tracer. I think Tracer's strong. I don't think she needs buffs. I think everyone else needs nerfs. But I'm not opposed to it because I think Tracer's a super healthy hero for the meta. I'd rather Tracer be strong than Widow. I'm interested to see what these Widow nerfs are though. Should be really great. Increase projectile speed from because the mines is spread out more, makes it easier to create a wider minefield. It's probably a buff. From 0.25 to 0.1. That's a pretty big change. Can anyone link me the real patch notes, please, where Widow gets nerfed? I'm actually crying right now. Subtitles now display when spectating while waiting to respawn. Who cares? Fix bug where that could cause damage not being dealt to a damage dealing ability while rapidly gaining losing targets. Exile try. I don't know what this means. Sure, whatever. Hit reg bugs, I guess. Target heroes will constantly knock each other down when colliding. This is a really interesting bug because this is just weird. I've had so many times where I fight a Doomfist and we punch each other and we both get punched. None of us get knocked down. We both get punched back. It's just weird. It's just a weird champ. During slow down time. I don't care about that. Okay, heroes. Improved ability for Doomfist to get through doorways whilst using Rocket Punch and clipping the corner. This change, I love it, dude. I fucking love this change. So many times I just got cut by an invisible wall and it just pissed me off. It really pissed me off. Consistently draws chance to get in, not being stopped by it. Good. This is good change. Nice. Didn't even realize this is an issue, if I'm honest. But Rocket Punch go directly back instead of maintaining any lateral movements they had. Okay. I think that's a good change. Yeah, that seems good. Targets that but knock issue are no longer affected by knockback trajectory. What? Oh, does that mean that you can punch a Zen? A Zen being knocked in trance just gets flown halfway across the fucking universe? That's good. Sure. If you use Meteor Strike with crouch, he would move slowly for the entire... I've never seen that bug before. That's hilarious. Move slightly backwards, slightly... Would move backwards slightly so during Meteor Strike. I don't know, it's that one, but... Fix the bug in front of Diva's Matrix pointing down when Diva's aiming downwards and moving. If they fix the bug where Diva's Matrix doesn't work if your part of it's in the wall... Or no. It's like old Doom, old speed. False positive illusion and line prediction. So I don't know. So I'm just waiting. Where's the Widow nerfs? Oh, there they are. Oh no, they're actually buffing here. The only change in this patch where Widow is a fucking buff. Plus, Old's getting nerfed as a Widow buff as well. Great fucking job, Blizzard. You buff Ashe. You fucking nerf Hanzo. But you don't nerf Widow. Are you donkey brain twats? Like, what? It was fixed on Tuesday? Oh, okay, fair enough then. What a joke. What a bloody joke. Looks like earn a loot box if you're the least played thing. I think this is good, right? I think this is actually good. As much as a lot of people might not like this, but I actually think it's a good change. I think they need to figure something out with the damage, with the queue times, but I don't understand how the fuck you do that. If I'm in top 10 and I'm a DPS player, how the fuck am I going to find a fair game? It's going to be so hard. But I'd rather have long queues in good games than the other way around. Just in roll queue, Overwatch's newest overhaul matchmaking, live on PTR. Dude, those are the days, dude. Whoa, what the fuck? Dude, what the fuck? You don't speak to my girl like that? Oh! Be a hard stuck plat player in your ranked games. Get out of my feed. You trash can. Go be a hard stuck plat player in your ranked games, idiot. Get out of my feed, you trash can. Nice. White knight? Yes, I'm white knighting my girlfriend. Yes, I am. Like, I don't know. Despite what my girlfriend said, right, like, she thinks that role queue is really bad for League. I think role queue is the best feature that League added in a long time. There's nothing worse than just queuing up in a League game and just, it was fucking pick order. And it was just like, you get 4th pick, you're forced to play sup. And it's just so annoying. Like, I will take long queue times. I'll take 10-minute queue times for a game where I know that I'm going to have a somewhat decent comp. Because the thing is that, like, also, the problem is, look at my avoid list, right? Look at my avoid list. I could have a better avoid list, but because my avoid list is forced to be effectively DPS player, DPS player, DPS player. I have triple DPS on my avoid list, because if I get a DPS player who's bad on my team, not only do I get a bad player on my team, I have someone who's playing the same role as me, so I'm fucked. So my avoid list right now is forced to have 3 DPS players. And now I can actually have a more tactical avoid list. This allows for more 5-head players. Purge, Gorilla, you dumb? I mean, they're both awful and they're both Doomfist OTPs. So, yes, I'm not stupid. Should I what kind of comp you want before Q? I mean, no, I don't think so. I don't think you could ever do that. I think that having Force 2-2 is good because it creates the game. It makes the game more stable. It makes the cheese starts less viable. Makes the game easier to balance. I mean, I don't know. I think they need to have an option as well in role queue. I think it's really important that they do. They should do what they do in League, and you can queue for 2 roles if you want to. You can queue DPS support, or you can queue DPS tank support. You can do flex. You can do all 3. You can do 2. You can only do 1. I think that's an important thing. Without the flexor will be stupid, yeah, exactly. Because you don't get rewarded for being good at every role.